Hello, let us talk about the Truman Doctrine. Now, the Truman Doctrine is going to be announced on March 12th, 1947. It's going to be expanded upon July 4th, 1948, Independence Day of the United States of America. And what is the Truman Doctrine? The Truman Doctrine basically outlines American support for nations that are threatened by communism. So whenever communism threatens, the United States will intervene and protect and support those individual countries. We can kind of see that right here in this political cartoon from the time. Okay, we're going to see Uncle Sam there, being American, holding the gun. Okay, he's got to keep the vultures off. So he's got his chickens down there. His chickens are going to be the aid to Greece and Turkey. Now, Greece at this time period is in the middle of an incredibly bad civil war going on. Also an incredibly confusing civil war. A bunch of different people all fighting each other and then fighting themselves and working with each other. It's just kind of a confusing cluster. But the United States is going to be supporting Greece. It's going to be supporting Turkey because they're both countries that are in danger of falling to communism. The United States is going to be protecting the vultures, okay, keeping the vultures away from their chickens, graft, waste, and corruption, keeping that communism away and protecting it by whatever means are really needed for the United States to be doing that. This is going to be the foundation of U.S. foreign policy throughout the entire Cold War. Okay, that whenever a country is threatened by communism, the United States is going to step in and stop that. We're going to be seeing that when it comes to talking about Vietnam, Korea, the Iran-Contra affair, all that different stuff, all involves the Truman Doctrine to some degree. This is going to also lead to the foundation of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, because it's going to be kind of this alliance of the United States and out countries that are aligned with the United States against communism, and that's really what the Truman Doctrine is going to be stating. Okay, so we probably would not have NATO the way it was originally founded if it were not for the Truman Doctrine. Now, even taking the Truman Doctrine a little bit farther is going to be the Marshall Plan, or as it's officially known, the European Recovery Program. Now, this is going to be a plan proposed by the Secretary of State, George Marshall. And in this plan, which is passed in Congress in 1948, it's basically like the Truman Doctrine fully in action, okay? So the United States is going to fully financially support and give aid to Western Europe, a total of $12 billion in 1948. In 2018, this is equivalent of $100 billion. So here today in 2020, this would have increased a little bit more. But realize this is a ton of money that the United States is just going to be giving, or they're going to be kind of putting it, investing into Europe to make sure that Europe, after being destroyed in World War II, is not going to turn to communism. They do not want that to happen. So Marshall proposes the European Recovery Program. This program is going to last officially for 4 years, and the goals of this program are, there's a number of them. Okay, first and foremost, the United States needs to rebuild the war-torn regions of Europe. Okay, Europe cannot be this destroyed program. When it's destroyed with no economy, no real buildings, anything, or an infrastructure, they're going to be susceptible to communism. We don't want that. We've got to make sure we rebuild Europe. We've got to modernize their industry to make sure their industry is strong. The United States is about the one country that emerges from World War II far stronger than it went into World War II, primarily because of the amount of industry that was developed in the United States to support the American war effort. They want the rest of Europe to have that same kind of thing. Get rid of trade barriers that have made it harder for the United States and European countries to trade with one another so they can help each other economically, improve European prosperity, so help the Europeans make more money. But ultimately, this is about stopping the spread of communism. Kind of the belief is, if you give someone a bunch of money and you're going to kind of hope they're going to want to be like you, or at least not go against you because they just gave you a bunch of money. We can see this in a couple different cartoons right through here, okay? This one right here, keep on pumping. When you're riding a bike, you just got to keep on going. This is like the American right here is teaching his European child how to ride a bike, okay? If you stop supporting yourself and stop kind of pedaling, you're going to fall over. But you can't just hop on the bike right away as a kid and just keep on going. You've got to have some stability and some support. So the United States is going to be kind of propping them up, or the American taxpayer, so to speak, propping up Europe until Europe can go on and support himself. Okay, he's finally getting the hang of it. After a little while, he's finally going to figure out what he's doing, and Europe will be okay. Just like this kid here riding the bike. We can also see this one right through here. Okay, this is kind of the comparison of the Marshall Plan versus Stalin's Marshall Plan. Okay, Marshall-Stalin Plan, as you can see right there. Stalin making everyone work hard. They're not really enjoying it. It's like slavery, and they don't have near as much good stuff as they have on the other side with the Marshall Plan right over there. You got the man on top of the tractor versus a man being the tractor pulling it himself. Okay, the Marshall Plan, Marshall Stalin's plan. You can see the difference right through there. Additionally, okay, the aid within the Marshall Plan is going to be divided on a per capita basis. More money is going to be given to the major industrial powers of Europe, and less is going to be given to countries that are formerly Axis powers or neutral countries. Okay, so if you did not fight with the Allies during World War II, you're going to be getting less money. Additionally, if you're not a major power, you're going to be getting less money. And this is because the industrial powers of Europe, if you get them up and running, once again, it's going to allow them to kind of support other countries in Europe. The economy will be strong, and together they're going to get going, okay, and really start taking off. You can see that again in this cartoon right here. Whatever the weather, we only reach welfare together. So we've all got to stick together. The United States is going to be the glue that's holding Europe together at this time period. The United Kingdom is going to emerge with 26% of all Marshall Plan aid. France is going to receive 18% of that, and West Germany is going to receive 11% of that aid. The rest of the aid is going to be kind of divided up among different European countries. The United States did offer this aid to Eastern Bloc countries. However, they were told by the Soviet Union that you will not accept this money. If you do, there will be problems. And the Soviets easily could enforce their will upon Eastern Europe. And they would have done that if those countries accepted the plan of the Marshall Plan money, because the Soviets realized that if you accept this money, it's not simply a handout. The Americans are going to want something in return, and that really was the case. The Americans wanted in return them not to become communist. So they're going to kind of block this and try to give these countries money in their own way, but it's going to work to a differing degree for a different way. So that is the Marshall Plan. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below. Good luck.